Okay, so we're just going to have a little look at the feet. We're going to look at aligning the feet and engaging the feet. We're going to look at common misalignments, common issues with the feet, and really begin to see how important the feet are when it comes to creating a system of engagement through the body that promotes freedom. So there are two main alignments. Simply, there are two main alignments with the feet. One is what we call a standing leg or a standing foot. And it's just the foot as it would normally be as you're standing. That alignment in which there's balance in the ankles, balance with the foot and its relationship to the shin and the calf. And you can have this foot on the floor and it'll tell you how to hold it. And then once you lift the foot off the floor, it's can you maintain that? How do you maintain that alignment? When you move into kind of pigeon-esque poses, quite often you'll see this sickling of the ankle. You see the way the lower ankle, the outer ankle is collapsing. So this straight away indicates a tightness in the pelvis, and what happens so often is the lower joints, the smaller joints, begin to take the brunt. You should never be in this position. You should never do this to yourself. What's happening here is because this ankle is collapsing, it's telling us the connective tissue on all sides of the bones of the lower leg isn't engaged. It's not evenly engaged. And this means the two bones in the lower leg, in their relationship to these joints, they're not aligned. It's going to put pressure on your joints and eventually it's going to create an issue with these joints. So you want to have an active foot that maintains a tonus through all sides of the body. Yeah? So the engagement you create from the tips of the toes right up through the foot is going to really begin to change your practice. So the two main alignments, the one is this standing foot, which I'm doing at the moment. The other is learning to point the toes. So you create this length through the front of the shin, and it creates a toning and arching of the sole of the foot, a lifting of the calf muscle, and a tonus which is even on all sides of the bones. That means the ankle is safe, the knee is safe, and the work will move into the pelvis, which is what we want to do with a lot of these poses. So, in terms of engaging the foot and working with the foot, the tendencies, these are the big tendencies. We lift the toes more than we need to. It's a real epidemic. The toes lift. And every time we do this, because we're overdoing it, the tendons of the toes become tight and calcified and rigid. I see this so often with clients. As that happens, the front of the feet become over tight. The soles of the feet, the arches of the feet become weak and collapsed. Okay? Another big issue is we tend to dump into the heels. Because the back chain of the body is sleepy and dull and heavy, we dump weight into the heels. And if you walk around, you'll feel that. And equally, because the front of the feet are trapped a lot of the time in these tight positions within shoes, they forget how to do their job. They become trapped and they can't work and they can't spread and they can't be mobile. So learning to articulate the toes and work with the toes and pay attention to the toes, realizing that these places that we're working with, they're primitive, they're not used to engaging and working. You need to be patient with them and give them time. In terms of working with the foot, focus first on the pad of the big toe, right beneath the nail, the ball of the big toe, and then spreading the other toes as you anchor that big toe. And as all the toes learn to lay broadly on the earth, and this will take time, but it will happen, a clawing action. So the toes are digging down and dragging backwards. And if you play with that, you'll begin to feel how it creates and supports the arching of the feet. Now, in the beginning, when you're working things that aren't used to working, there's resistance, there needs to be a lot of effort, a lot of work, a lot of attention. As you continue to practice, less and less effort will be required. And in fact, the engagement can become much less rigid. And ultimately, what we want to do is teach the body how to create a uniform engagement throughout the front, back, and sides, where every part is playing its role. Yeah, there's a symphony of engagement. And it's like getting the numbers on a combination. If you get one or two, the lock's not going to open up. But if you get all of them, then the body will begin to open, it will begin to dilate, and we're going to begin to feel more freedom in the body, more fluidity and ease in the body. The feet are the foundation of this. They really, really need to be honored. They need to have time spent with them in teaching them how to work. Every toe is a muscle that needs to learn how to articulate and do its job. So play with spreading the toes, creating that digging and dragging action, and even play with lifting the heels up and walking around with the balls and the pads of the toes on the earth. And straight away you're going to tap into a lightness in your practice, a buoyancy. It's not easy, but again, the more you practice, the easier it becomes. So there's some very simple ideas for the feet, for working with the feet. If you've got any ideas, please feel free to get in touch. We're going to move on to hands next week and look at the hands and ways of working and aligning and engaging and opening the hands up. And there you go. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.